This is the Fluid Jobs podcast, where motorsport professionals share their journeys and offer actionable advice for breaking into and advancing in the competitive world of motorsport. In today's podcast, we explore the exciting world of Formula E with guests from Mahindra Racing, a team that's been in the championship for 10 years. If you're interested in roles beyond the car, like HR, IT or finance, this episode is for you. Dorota and Elle from Mahindra's HR team share their insights on working in this innovative field. So let's get into the podcast. Hi guys, thank you very much for joining us, Dorota and Elle from Mahindra Racing. Thank you for joining the Drive 61 Careers podcast. And let's begin by just explaining a little bit more about what Mahindra Racing actually does.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So Mahindra Racing is one of the team that is participating in Formula E Championship. We are within the championship since the inception, so we are celebrating 10 years as a company and also as a team.
Fantastic. So Mahindra was in there right from the beginning. And specifically within Mahindra, what are the roles that you two have?
I'm people manager and Elle is our talent acquisition manager.
Okay, and so to go a little bit deeper on those points, what do your roles involve day to day? What are you doing within the company?
Yeah. So I work with the department leads, managers, directly with the people, talking about resourcing and future planning, consulting, advising on how we do it. So there's obviously lots of different ways to recruit, lots of different types of roles. So I find that I can get really stuck in with the direct managers and creating the expert team that we need to deliver.
Yes, and I work with our leadership, also with the rest of the team to support on daily basis. To be honest, about everything, starting from as soon as we find proper candidates. So as soon as Elle tells me that, oh yes, we have someone to hire, then I'm responsible for all of the admin stuff, paperwork, everything that is required to be compliant to hire employee, and then to go through entire life, professional life with that individual. So from hire to retire, everything that is involved with HR, that's me.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
We work well together. It's almost like from me to you,
yes.
Isn't it? And then
the dream team. Well, thank you very much, guys.
Yes.
Now, I think a lot of people think about a race team and they think about mechanics, or they might think about a race engineer. But of course, there's a lot more to the people within a race team. Can you give us a kind of overview of what types of roles you have at Mahindra?
Mm-hmm.
a whole array,
like everything
yes.
across all of the, I would say, despite of course engineers, because I think people think that motorsport means car and everything that is surrounded about the car, but it's not like that. We have backstage divisions like HR, like IT, like finance, like every single company has. And of course, we have departments that are specifically dedicated for the car, that they are focusing on this one. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. I think it's an important point because, like you say, a lot of people do just think about the mechanics or the engineering side, but you know, these are larger companies, and obviously you need the rest of the organization to make it all work. We have quite a lot of viewers who are studying for a career in motorsport. And so I wanted just to take a few moments just to discuss what type of like entry level roles are available in a racing team like Mahindra.
Mm-hmm.
So internships, graduate schemes, or even just generally junior graduate roles, doesn't have to be graduate scheme as such, but I think, you know, once they've graduated, or even if there's a placement year, there's options in different teams. Different race teams will have different options, but usually an internship or a graduate scheme is good for that level of someone coming out and getting their first role in motorsport. I'd always say volunteering is really good as well. It stands out.
That's true.
So these are things to get candidates to stand out just at the application phase. Is that what you're saying? So if the timeline looks like you guys advertise for a role, you'll receive all of the applicants. Is it at that point that you're looking for these extra things to stand out, or?
Not quite exactly, because yes, we do have openings, and this is, I think, the easiest way. Just we advertise, people are applying, and then we can just go with the standard recruitment.
Yeah.
But we also are having headhunting, like we headhunt people. We are open for internship programs. So if someone that is studying, let's say, motorsport and would like to be considered as a candidate, we are open to consider that candidate. We focus more on if let's say this person is with no prior experience. So it's more or less like, for us, it's very important what kind of qualifications do they have. Are they passionate? Are they willing to learn? How fast they can learn? How they can demonstrate the willingness to absorb whatever is right now with our environment. And each hiring decision, despite of the level of the position, is based on the holistic evaluation of the role. So yes, so that depends on the hiring manager decision, what exactly we are looking for, and how we should reach out to individuals.
I think just to add to that as well, it's really important the person that joins the team. So we're looking for a really good team fit, and this person coming in, traits like being adaptable, flexible, open-minded, willing to travel. It's kind of a lifestyle. It's not like a 9-to-5 work at home on your own job. It's really part of a family, being part of a team. You have highs, you have lows. We need to help support everyone and push everyone through, celebrate the wins, then also really, really get stuck in and support each other and muck into other departments. I think it's really nice here as well because everyone's under one roof and it's a nice smaller sized team so that you get exposure. Yes. So I think actually coming to a smaller sized team for an intern level is really good. They'll get a lot more experience and exposure because you can be in such a large team, just be a small cog in there and you don't get that experience. It does suit some people, but I think looking at that level is really important.
Yeah. And how collaborative they can be.
Yeah.
What we are saying within Mahindra Group, because Mahindra Racing is a part of Mahindra Group, we are saying that together we rise. So to us, it's very important how we can support each other, how we can look after each other.
Yeah. And understand, support, be empathetic in any role as well as ours.
That's true.
Fantastic. So when you're talking about things like passion and kind of willingness to get stuck in the application and kind of interview process, do you have any good examples of what that practically looks like, in the real world, so that I think the candidates understand that, they have a passion, but how do they show that off to you guys? How do they make that visible to kind of impress during the process?
Yeah. I think that is the hardest part, because how you can justify your passion, how you can put something in writing saying like, yes, I'm passionate. So for us, I think the first step is when we are screening the resumes, of course, qualifications and experience, etc., but also how they can provide us, let's say, whether they were volunteers,
yes,
whether they were participating in different events, maybe they are part of any kind of network. So something that they can show us on the paper that we will consider like, oh, wait a minute, this is very interesting.
Yeah.
And then we will just like discuss that among each other and say, are you interested, to our hiring managers, are you interested in that individual? Because we are seeing this one on that one. This is how we read that resume. And then, as soon as hiring manager is interested, we are just reaching out to that individual.
It's a good point, because there's quite a lot of people at that level applying. So then if they haven't got any work experience, each CV could look very similar.
Yeah.
So it's how do you stand out against that? And I guess that's what we're digging into, isn't it? And things like the volunteering, or even volunteering in other sports or other types of motorsport. You know, we are Formula E, but other formulas or other sporting industries is also good too. Yeah.
So rather than just explaining that you're passionate about motorsport, you're talking about getting out there, getting your hands dirty a little bit. Maybe, you know, if you saw a CV that said, look, for the last 6 months, I've been helping this club motorsport team with their mechanicking at the race weekends.
Yeah, apply.
I haven't been doing that, unfortunately, so I'm sorry. And then, so once you've kind of filtered through the applicants and you're moving, I presume the next step is like an interview stage. Is it a similar type of thing that's coming across in the interview? Like, what's your advice for how to best kind of stand out during those interview processes in a way that obviously is going to help someone potentially get a role?
I guess doing your homework is good, researching what that role is and the team, future pathways within that role, being confident. Obviously, that's not something you can teach, but I guess the more confident and clear you are in your response and practice interviewing is obviously really good. It's how you present yourself as well as what you're presenting, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should also emphasize that we don't use any AI to screen the resumes. It's only human factor for us, because any algorithm can just omit something that is important for us. So I think it's also to us very important to emphasize that it's
we do that.
It's still like we need still human factor to screen the resume and say like, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah, of course. And I think, Elle, your point about confidence also comes down to, it's not just kind of natural confidence, it's preparation, right? If you're prepared and you've researched the role and you know your stuff around that role, then of course you're going to feel more confident in that interview process yourself.
And ask questions. I think it's almost, you know, we're interviewing the person, but also they need to remember they need to show confidence and sort of not interview us, but also want to understand a bit more about that manager or what they do. So there's that showing interest in that sense as well is important.
Yes, to show that basically, well, we are looking for a candidate. We have open position, but it should be a kind of consensus, like whether we are fit for that candidate, similar to that candidate for us.
That's it.
So so that is also something that before even applying, you need to think about like whether I want to be in that place, to ask some, I don't know, friends or colleagues or anyone that at least knows something about the industry, to think about like, okay, if I want to be here, then I do my research. I will do that.
That's it. And that will come across if someone is just interviewing almost for the sake of interviewing, or interviewing because they're really passionate and want to be there. It definitely shows.
Yeah, and I suppose if they're asking questions about your team and your company, it shows that they're actually trying to understand if they are a good fit for the role and for the company itself, right? Which is, of course, I suppose what you guys want as well.
Yeah, definitely. And for us, it's important how they are asking us questions about the culture, about the way how we work, about the atmosphere here, the industry. Everything matters to us. How the question is asked is also important.
Fantastic. So just finally, guys, do you have any extra kind of parting suggestions for candidates looking for roles in motorsport or even at Mahindra?
Keep an eye out for our adverts and read the adverts. And then at the end, we definitely have sections with what we're looking for, essential criteria or desirable. Yes. So make sure that you do fit the gaps and those lines and everything that's featured on that advert. Otherwise, it can be the wrong job, the wrong person. But yeah, definitely keep an eye out for all the adverts. We advertise on the website and LinkedIn, and just really study that spec and be prepared to almost answer questions about every line and how you would do it. Even if you haven't done something on there, which is obviously quite common at this entry level, have a think still about it and how you would do it if you haven't.
So if our viewers want to find out a little bit more about Mahindra Racing, where should we send them?
I would say first maybe our MahindraRacing.com. It's our website. Our account on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
That's the second one.
Learning more about us, LinkedIn and the website are really good.
Yes.
Fantastic, guys. Thank you both for your time. That's been excellent. And hope to speak to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Definitely.